Hey y'all, how are you today? So, this is my How Do You Do art project for March. And, okay, so I put all this up here because this is what we're doing. Um, but it's actually Master Board May. Now, I did do a video on this. However, I forgot to move the camera to the sewing machine, so I'm just talking like a fool, and all you can see is an empty desk and my arms reaching across and nothing else. So this is my master board. For those of you that didn't see my March video, I did a collaboration with Hazel over at Hazel Anaka Design, and that was Masterboard March. And what I was trying to do didn't work out the way I wanted it to, or hoped that it would. So I put that aside. And what I did was I picked out all the stitches on what didn't work, and I ended up making this. And so unfortunately, yeah, you're not going to see the process video on this, but really all I did was take all those tiny little pieces and sewed them together to make a larger scrap of fabric, and then I just sewed them together in lines across this way. And I sewed this onto a piece of muslin as my backing, and then I put this over top of it. And this is just batting, 100% cotton, warm and natural batting if you're interested. And this is going to be the outside cover. So let's put that aside for a second. And this is what we're going to do. So this is going to be my inside, and this is for my spine. So we'll work with that later. But this is going to be the inside of my cover. And because I took the pocket off, you know how since the pocket doesn't get sun, it's darker than the rest of the fabric. So I think this was actually supposed to be like a dark blue denim wash. It looks really light denim on my camera, but it's really a lot darker in person than what it looks like. So I cut up the entire set of jeans, and this is what I've decided to do. Now, I cut off the sides and the bottom of this pocket to make it a little bit shorter because, as you can see, it was a lot bigger. And I used the fabric that I'm going to use for my spine to cover up the edging of the stitches, and I put it on upside down. But it's not going to matter. So the only reason I put that in there is so you don't see the frayed edges around the pocket. And then that's going to go right here. And I'm going to put that on there. And I think I'm just going to sew around the 3 edges on that and make that a tiny little pocket. And this is going to be the inside front part of my cover, and then the back. So what I'm going to do before that, though, is I want to put this stencil on here, and I'm going to use this acrylic paint in the color Coral, which is I think it kind of looks more pink in the video, but I moved my trash can. Okay, so I'll probably need a little bit more than that, but this is what we're gonna start with. And so the reason I'm putting this on here, even though most of it's gonna be covered, is because I wanna try and cover up the pocket part there, because you will see part of that. But I also wanted to break up that darkness. And so we're just going to, and I want this to go all the way across. Okay. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that I forgot to move the camera for the first part of my project, because this was going to be a two-parter with a different collab on this part. But it wasn't supposed to work out that way. Okay. But what I did notice yesterday, because I did this for, I actually have another one that I started with, and I did the same thing. I forgot to move the camera in a section. So all you hear is me sitting there talking and not seeing anything. And I don't know how to edit, but this is the year it's going to happen. So I had somebody come over last week, and we were talking about how to best set up my filming area. And I ended up buying an extension piece for my webcam, because I bought a webcam. I couldn't hook it up because I didn't know what I needed to do, because my camera is held up to my right and my laptop is to my left, because that's where the wall and the power strip is. And it was just easier for me to have it set up that way. All right, my arm is getting tired from pouncing. But I know it's not going to cover up the whole thing, but that whole pocket part, but it's not really going to matter because you're not going to see most of that. But I wanted to do this part here also, because if you look inside the pocket, you will see that, and it's just really dark in person. And I'm not really keen on stenciling with paint. This is kind of tedious. And I don't want to lift it up to see if I'm actually not going underneath, because I probably will end up getting it underneath the stencil. Because I've only done this one other time before, and that was, I had started a, I follow DJ from Hither and Yon Studios, and she has a series on the Big Book of Junk Journal Ideas. I think that's what it's called. I'm not quite sure how to share somebody else's playlist, so I'm just going to put her name and channel down in the description box, and then that way you can go check that out if you so desire. And if you haven't seen any of her videos, you should go head on over to her channel. I found her only because the YouTube algorithm popped her up next, and I started following her, and she's very creative, and she's pretty funny. And she's also very genuine. So, and she's got some really great stuff though. And she also has a free digital kit that comes out every month on the 1st, and you have to request it every month via email. But it's for personal use only, so you can't get it for free and then sell it. Okay, that kind of looks crooked, but I'm gonna be okay with that because I really have no choice now. And I'm just going to lay this down here. And this might end up being a two-parter, because I I need to wait for this to dry, which I was testing this out yesterday, and it doesn't take that much time for this to dry because I'm not really putting a lot of paint on there. But I haven't really decided if I'm going to bind the edges on both of them so it's together, or if I want to keep the jean part out so it'll fray and just bind the other part because I need to hide the batting on the inside, because I can't put that in the washing machine. That's another thing. I actually have a couple different yeah, that was kind of a headache. I actually have a couple of different fabric covers with this same fabric, which I'm really surprised that I got as many out of it as I did, just because the pieces are so small and it really didn't look like it was gonna be that much. But on one of them, I again forgot to move the camera. But the other one, I rinsed it under the sink because I didn't want to put it through a whole wash cycle. I just wanted to get it wet so I could put it in the dryer so the edges would fray on the fabric itself. But what I forgot to take into consideration is that I did not wash my muslin before I used it, and it shrank. And so the cover, I actually did that a couple of times and didn't learn my lesson the first time, so I had to do it again the same way, which I'll have to see if I have them like right within reach so you can see, because that was supposed to be a video, and not only did I forget to move the camera, but then they shrunk, and that makes the design on the fabric look all funky. But what are you gonna do? I had to laugh because there's really not much else I could do at that point. But one of the pieces that I did, one of the pieces of fabric that I used, I don't even know where I got it. It was probably in like a grab bag, you know, a whole bunch of fabric that I bought in bulk from either Marketplace or Goodwill. But it's got this really funny design on it, like extremely abstract, but it looks like there's a person on there. And he was kind of cute because it looks like he's doing a little jig, but it's like an alien, an alien person. I don't know. I'll have to find it and show it to you because I wanted to make that into a cover, but now he's all wrinkled up because the muslin shrank. So, okay. Oh, don't you get on there. Okay, so it did bleed a little bit right there, but for the most part, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to call this done, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording so I can clean up my mess and give this a chance to dry. And then I will come back and show you the rest of the project, which this will probably end up in two pieces, or two parts, two parts. So I hope you enjoyed this, and stay tuned for what's coming next because I have a few more things to do, and happy crafting.